Okay. Welcome back to Super Sentai Review, episode number 192. This is reviewing the ninth ever Super Sentai series ever released, and also, for me personally, the last Showa era Super Sentai series to be released. Changeman! And here are the Changeman! Which basically, I was looking at the suits compare this one and Bioman, which I had previously reviewed. It seems like they basically took the same template as the Bioman, except that basically where the vest had like techno stuff in front of it. This one mostly it's like the helmets are a little different, but it's almost like a redesign. It's like basically a redress of the Bioman suits. And as you can tell, picture, there is no Yellow Ranger here. This actually is the first Super Sentai series to not have a Yellow Ranger. Yes. Well, I could also say it's also another Pink Ranger. The Changemen basically also are noteworthy for me. I think this was the second Sentai series to actually have it where we have two women and part of the team. Because Bioman kind of started this off with this one. No, I think it may have been Denzi Man. Yes. Mostly put this is what happened over the course. Now we're discussing the first two episodes of the series. We start off with the five changemen basically going through training with a bunch of soldiers as part of the Earth Defense Force. And their drill instructor is a cruel man who preferred to fire a machine gun off in order to get something. What is, you might ask? What is he trying to do? He says, oh, yeah, you're too young to know. What he's actually wanting is basically something called the Earth Force. Basically a way to power up mostly. And just by weird coincidence, when they have the monsters of this one, the main bad guys attack, they just happen to have their Changeman bracelets on. How the heck they got those is never explained. And by the way, their code names are Change Dragon, that's the red one. Change Griffin, I think that is the black one, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, Change Griffin is the black one. Pegasus is blue. Mermaid is actually white. And Change Phoenix is basically pink. Now, what is some of these characters? I think Griffin has a thing where he has messed up his hair. Change Dragon is sort of basically, I should point this. They have very blank personalities. Don't all look at what exactly the personalities are. Yep. So, their sergeant is named Yui Baki, who are basically, while they're trying to take a break of all the training they've gone through, he's like, no, you cannot take a break. You have to continue training. And they like, what's the point of this? You're too young to know. And they all just basically all quit on the spot. And that's when basically the Gorza show up. Oh, excuse me. The Gozama. Yes, they're a group of aliens. Yes, which probably makes this. Let's see. Of the Sentai series I've watched so far, where the main villains are aliens, like in the case of chronologically, this may. I'm trying to think. Let's see. I think this was the second one to do this. The Great Star Gorzma. Now their leader is this thing. Star King Bazuru. Yeah, that's him. I'm not sure briefly because it's kind of gross look, this guy. But yeah, that's your main bad guy. He is the leader. The other ones are Jiren Gaku, who's actually in charge of the actual group. Agent Boba. Yeah. Agent Sama, who, this is quite strange though. Mm-hmm. About this one. Yeah, where it's clearly a woman and yet she has a guy's voice because basically it's very deep. Yep. Yeah, and those are your four. Oh, and by the way, their main base operations is a spaceship. Yep, a spaceship. The mothership Gossamer. Which, if you're curious, that's what it looks like. It's a not bad looking design of an alien spaceship. Yeah, basically alien invasion story. Okay. I would probably say more commonplace. Me in later Sentai series, but this at the time probably was very rare. So they arrive at the planet, and Bowser is like, "Ooh, what a beautiful planet! Go conquer it!" So basically, launch their fighters, and by the way, this episode also has debut of their Megazord, which, yeah, and of course, then they transform first time, and they're taken by their carrier ship. Yes, the carrier Zord, which is basically known as the Change Shuttle. They also have their vehicle. They're called as or why they call it Changeman, because they change. They have a change sword, which is an actual, and also a change sword gun. Okay. Yep. And by the way, in case you're curious, though, they fight two monsters over the course of the first two episodes. We have, by the way, there's also Navigator Gatu. And there's also Gadia. This creature here. What is the purpose of this creature? Enlarging the monsters. Yes, I think this was the first one to do this. Where first of several seasons in a row we have a creature respawn. Now I don't know how it happens in Turbo Ranger or Five Man, but it happened in Mass Man, Live Man, and of course Flashman. These three also had basically a creature, or in the case of Live Man, a robot, where they fire an energy beam and basically a monster of giant size. Yep. Now we do see the debut of their, like, as soon as they go out the field after they transform at the second time, they reveal, oh yeah, that's revealed later on that the guy who is their drill sergeant is actually the chief of the Earth Defense Force. Though he's despite being a cruel guy, as not explained for the next episode, actually a very nice guy. Yep. Now, they do in fact have like individual weapons, which I believe this was the first time they actually did this, where they have like a combined bazooka. Mm-hmm. Yep. And as for their Megazord, and once again we have sort of a. You look at this, you're like, wow, this looks exactly like the Sun Robo, which was slight differences. And yeah, they still were doing this, where we had to use the Sun Vulcan design for some strange reason. Oh, I should point out, though, that the episodes are, in fact, 19 minutes. Yeah, I got these episodes pretty quickly when I watched them. Mm-hmm. So after they, transform, beat the monster episode, and of course, aside from we debut the motorcycles, which is quite nice to have debut in the same episode. Then pretty much like, right after the next monster, Cirque is like, why haven't we conquered the thing yet? He's like, if you fail, I'll destroy your homeworlds. Yeah, that's the thing about the Star King. Now at this point, I'm thinking, how the heck does the commander know about these creatures, or what their goal is? Well, it's not explained later what exactly his deal is. And simply basically a Nero monster, which he has basically like he kidnaps people. Though he's like a jelly monster, it's really kind of weird of a creature. Now you might be thinking, Is the cockpit they use for this one a redesign of the ones used on Vulcan? Nope, it's a very tiny cockpit. Yes, believe it or not, it's not the same cockpit they use from Son of Vulcan per se. It's like the one in the case of the Ranger. It seems like for his, it seems like a redress of the Bioman cockpits. Except his is a one-seater. Yeah, and they moved the other ones to like different Zords. Yeah, though we're back doing 3-part one this time instead of doing a 2-part Zord, which fine, I have no issue with that. But like on my Flashman, they do in fact finally abandon reusing the Sun Vulcan design. Because it seems like the style is like, it's the Sun Vulcan Megazord. Just with slight updates. That's simple what this Robo is. It's not about the Monster of the Week. It's nothing all that, well, interesting going on here. We're just 2 episodes in so far of this 55 episode series, which is the second longest of the entire franchise. Nothing is as long as the same length as this one. The other one you can kind of consider just as close to the same length as this one is probably Cocker Ranger, 53 episodes. That's probably the third longest. But yeah, not much else to say. 2 episodes. We're not much going on here per se, aside from the fact we see him out in the field for the first time. In episode 2, where they basically go in the city, which, okay. Yeah, in the case of the show, I'm enjoying it. One thing I do enjoy about these 2 episodes so far is the camera work. The visually looks very beautiful for something that came out in 1985. Yes, believe it, almost 30 years ago. Actually, almost 40 years ago this came out. So yeah, but not much else to say these 2 episodes. We're just gonna move on here. Okay, so that's the episode of you. Next episode's gonna be a comic corner, and that'll probably call it night after that. Okay, next video. Bye.